I'm Emma Holmes, doing a presentation on dance and musical theatre. So becoming a dancer, it's a very hard profession to get into as it is very competitive. However, if you do a lot of training and you set yourself up right, you can work well to get into it. Many dancers start off at a very young age. I know a lot of people around me have started off at the age of 3 or 4, and that is usually the case if that is what you want to do and that is your passion to get into the musical theatre industry. However, there are many people such as Matthew Bourne, who I mentioned later, who started in their 20s or teens that are very successful and can get into it. Also, if it is your passion, like it is what's fueling you, obviously there is like your training and everything, but if you want to get into it, you have to have a certain passion and love for doing stuff on stage and making and entertaining people. Otherwise, you're going to lose interest with all the stress on you as well. Professional dancers such as David Zohar started in their 20s and got on to be, he was a contemporary dancer and he made his way through the industry very successfully. Especially at professional level, it is one of the most demanding careers, both mentally and physically, as although you can have a certain natural talent in the way your body is or the way you feel a rhythm, it does take technical training and lots of years to get it very precise in order to be on stage and impress directors and choreographers. So the roles of the dancer, a definition would be that it is explained that a dancer expresses story in rhythm and sound with their body. To be successful, it takes more than a natural talent. A dancer must work hard to be like agile and flexible, and so their body can use music and need stuff like musicality and dynamics to make the intention of a dance go through. As well as this, they need a good understanding with techniques and moves behind what they are doing on stage. So this would come from going into dance subjects and drama as well, because you have to act through dance on stage. Dancers do need to maintain good stamina as well as fitness, as every dance that you do needs to require full energy to be entertaining, as well as having to extend through every move. And if this is not accomplished, then getting into a dance company or any production in your audition can seem flat, and then you won't get into it because they just won't. They need dancers who can bring it full on every day. So this obviously requires a good stamina and fitness level, which is maintained through training. One very big part of being a dancer is adaptability. You go through, say, a production I have where dancers get injured, they drop out because of stress, or a dance number needs to be changed because it doesn't fit anymore, or the formations don't fit with the set. So you need to be able to pick up choreography very fast and you need to be adaptable to different situations so that you can do it. And you need to be confident in this so that you don't seem unprepared on stage. As well as this, obviously creativity and motivation are two very important things when in dance, as many choreographers will use their dancers to help build a piece around their skills as well as their ideas. Usually, I know in like Ballet Ramba, they create pieces and they get their dancers to make a motif, and then they build their piece around that, so that dancers aren't just robots and like taking a piece of choreography and dancing them how they directed on. They will have a piece of them in it, so it will be more entertaining for the audience. Personal qualities needed. When aiming to do dance professionally, more than always you need to have a lot of professional training in your background in one of these styles especially. So classical ballet, if you're heading towards more productions like Matthew Vaughan's productions, or like modern and jazz is usually used in like musical theatre, more jazz, so like Chicago and stuff like that. Contemporary and street are more aimed at dance companies that put on productions mainly based around dance, and then some African and Asian dance styles like in The Lion King and stuff like that. They use dancers from different countries to infuse the backgrounds. Commitment is needed to train daily, as you need to learn new styles and be able to adapt, as I've previously said, and you need to be able to create with your own choreographies as well as you've been taught in. If you go into musical theatre schools, that is what you've been taught. Obviously, you need to maintain your stamina and fitness and adaptability throughout your career, because going into auditions, it is a very competitive business, and you need to be able to stay on top of what you are. Confidence is a very big personality trait that you need to have, because you need to be able to perform and know what you're doing, so this comes with preparation as well. Employability, these are skills, so control over your body, so this comes with training as well, and knowing your fitness and your stamina, and as well as your mental stability. You need to have control over this, as well as there is a lot of pressure, and other dancers may have come from similar backgrounds as you, trained throughout the same years as you, but you need to know how to do this. Positive attitude always is very important, as it allows you to move through weeks and weeks of training under great stress, and if you cannot work with your peers then or your bosses and the choreographers, it's not going to help you, as there's just going to be conflict rather than being able to move through a piece. You need to be very organised going to auditions, as well as any rehearsals. You need to keep on top of choreography and any singing or acting if you're going to musical theatre. As I said before, you need to be a team player and versatile performer. This is being adapted to everything you need to do. As well as this, a good work ethic is very important, as you're going through weeks, maybe months of training to do one show, and you need to be able to stay on top of any dances or performances you're doing. These are some technical skills that dancers go through. So this will be, you will learn this through if you take dance in a subject at a school. So like timing and dynamics and alignment, posture, space, strength, control and coordination all help you to perform technically well, and knowing these elements you're able to demonstrate whilst dancing is very good. Mental skills are very important, so keeping concentrated and determined during rehearsals, obviously confidence in the way you're performing on stage, movement memory and mental rehearsal. You're not always going to be able to get into a space when rehearsing, so you need to be able to do it in your head and always know how your music is going to connect with the dance you're doing, and having the ability to demonstrate this and to be beneficial in the performance of your dance career. Rehearse piece choreography both mentally and physically, as I just said, and other skills such as concentration and determination are good to carry you through your skills. Some expressive skills like facial expression, projection, focus, and musicality and timing are very important to a dancer, as you can be as technical as you want, but you will not be entertaining to an audience, especially in musical theatre, if you do not convey the intention of a piece of choreography. So some of this, for example, this might be if you're doing more contemporary dance about refugees or soldiers, you need to be a bit more somber, whereas compared to musical theatre, you always need to keep energy on stage and project the moves you're doing to fulfill the idea to communicate. A performance is so much better with these skills as it has more impact and strength. Planning and organisation is very important going into auditions and the performance industry. Usually going into auditions for musical theatre, both shows and to schools, you're going to need a monologue, a song and a dance prepared for any auditions. You're going to be needing to be need to do all three, as in musical theatre that is usually required. Even if you're a dancer, you're going to be needing to sing and act through the way you're dancing. Along with this, you need a good attitude in rehearsals, otherwise you're just not going to get on with whoever you're dancing with, and the show won't come across as very well. Responding to feedback is a very important thing to do, because you can get very stressed under the pressures that it is. Responding to feedback from your peers as well as any choreographers or teachers or directors is very important. You need to accept it and work on it rather than let it get you down and be a negative block in your mind. It can be received whether you're asking someone to watch you dance and then get feedback from them, or audience members and the impact that they felt from your dance, or you can watch yourself on video and then critique yourself so you know where you need to make better progress. Some personal experience of mine. So I've been dancing for 9 years now and I've done many shows. But a couple of them I've been dancing, and I've known from the months that you put into it, you need to be very adaptable to what you're doing. Dancers do change, and you need to change. They change the music, change your formations. You always need to be able to pick up choreography very fast, and you need to be able to change what you're doing. With these, you always have to train and continue to build and develop your skills, as I did, because, as I said, dance and musical theatre is a very competitive business. You need to be always at the top of your game so that you can be able to get those positions or parts you want in order to get there. Working with professionals, the skills you develop over the years, whether you go to colleges or universities and go that way, or you just build your experience from doing shows and auditioning through that, you need to be able to discuss and communicate with your choreographers and directors, because you need to be able to establish that trust so that you can then go on to build good pieces. If you don't have that communication, you won't be able to say if you're under too much stress, if you don't know a piece of choreography, and then you might just get cut completely because they might just think you're unreliable, whereas you could be having an injury, you could be held back because of things going on in your life. It's really good to have that trust in your people you're working with. Pathways to dance. Always, obviously, as I said before, many people start at a young age going to clubs or going to train with schools outside of their normal life. Whether this is a straight dance and going into ballet or jazz and tap and that, or going into musical theatre, so training yourself with singing and acting and being able to act through your dance to project the intentions and narrative of that. Some schools that promote dance and performing arts are places like Juilliard, Kingston University, Wilkes Academy of Performing Arts, London Contemporary Dance School, Trinity Conservatoire, London Institute of Performing Arts and Stellenbosch College. These are very highly awarded performing arts and dance schools, and they produce some of the top dancers.
Well done. And questions. I've got a question. Can you give me a personal example from one of the shows you've done, I've put up the shows you've done those, of a piece of choreography that really challenged you and how you overcame that?
So in Calamity Jane, we had a can-can sequence. It was a lot of high kicks, and you had to keep your stamina and energy up the entire time. There was not really a time to break. So I had to do a lot of training and like cardio so that I would be able to keep my energy up during that, as well as in that I had to get my splits, which I did not have previously, which meant lots of stretching and gaining my flexibility and develop that.
Love it. And Harry?
If you want to be a dancer in the musical theatre industry, is it better to go to a musical theatre school that's strictly focused on that, or a more prestigious dance school like Rambert?
It's probably better to go into a musical theatre school just because they will focus more on your acting and singing as well as your dance, and it is more like musical theatre dance, so like jazz and stuff like that, whereas a dance school, like straight dance school, will focus on technique and will train you so that you can go into pure dance, and rather than focusing on your singing and acting as well as that.
Any other questions?